I say it every week, no reason to stop now. The perfect blend of the post-race high and the pre-race jitters is the break between races of a doubleheader Saturday night. And that's where we are right now, streaming cyberspace into your place. From Stafford Motor Speedway's the Virtual Grip Network's fifth brand coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's late model Invitational Series. It's season 29. Now, it's not surprising that a driver who races clean and goes winless for his first 83 career starts might pick up the nickname of the Quiet Man. But last season at Lucas Oil Raceway on his 84th career race, Ruben Altice made himself heard, earning his first career win. Just 5 races in his career later, 2 rounds into this new season, Altice won yet again at Lanier and round 2, and then yet again in round 3 at Fives Flags. A second last time out at Langley finds Altice alone at the top of the points, but a rule package that inverts the top 13 from the previous round will grid the Quiet Man tonight in amongst the chaos mid-pack. Can the Quiet Man continue to sound off, or will somebody say enough of the cacophony that is Ruben Altice? To find out, pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for some simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way from the state famous for poisoning a good eggnog. A warm kinetic cutter hello and welcome on this Saturday night, February 1st, believe it or not, 25. My gosh. Ricky Hard-in-the-Wall Harden back again to join yours truly, Bill Soups on. Hi! From the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our Words Eye View replay. Ryan Seneker. Well, if there's knobs that need to be turned or sliders that need to be pushed, he's the man doing it tonight. All right, Ricky, what do the viewers need to know about Stafford and this late model car track combo?
Yeah, the late model stock car and the setup under these guys tonight seems to be a lot more stable than the SK modified cars that we just watched a little bit ago. But the inside line is still the place to be. Drivers will search for that white line to help rotate the car down at the bottom lane of the track. But the story of the late model will likely always be tire wear, as we find out who can manage the rubber the best on the long green flag runs around this half-mile oval. Now, this track isn't quite as abrasive as some of them that we visit, but the drivers will still benefit by saving some rubber for go time, Soup.
It's going to be a fun one indeed. I'm going to go ahead and save my partner's voice. Let's bring up the race details here. We'll talk about how far we're going. 100 laps, that's the usual distance. You got to finish on the same tires you start with. No fast repair, Big Boy Racing. You break it or bot it. These are fixed setups, but you do get to play around with the brake bias. Some drivers like to do that. You know, the leader will have choice of lanes on restarts. He's going to choose the inside almost for sure. 1 green light checker attempt. If we go 100 laps and we get a yellow, we'll go a little bit farther. And we talked about the inversion of the grid. That's going to be very important to the points battle here. Ruben Altice is going to be starting near the back. And, you know, they get last place bonus points if they miss a race this time. So it's kind of something new that they're happening for the Virtual Grip Network and the Bootleg Racing League. Let's look at the points. No drivers made season debuts last time out at Langley. So the number of drivers who have raced at least once this season holds at a Baskin-Robbins like 31. 17 have raced in each of the previous 4 events. Thanks to a pair of wins, Ruben Altice came into Langley locked in a 3-way tie for the points lead. A second-place result there let the Quiet Man come into tonight 6 points up on his nearest competitor, and that being Aiden Young. Still winless, Young Gun has only podiumed once, but has yet to miss the top 10. After a dismal 13th to start the season 26 champ Ribeye Joe Snyder, well, he's seen nothing but podiums, and he's our spotlighted driver tonight. More on him a bit later. Scott Negas was out front for 92 laps at Langley on the way to his first late model win this season. Nobody has raced at Stafford more than Lowell Jewell. The boss man makes his 13th career start here tonight. With only 4 races in the book, season 27 champ John Wilson has finished 15th or worse twice. The caveman Trey Bloom is still searching for his first top 5. Todd Liston leads all drivers in collected incident points. He's got a whopping 45, and Todd just is having a hard time this season in both series. Starting from the pole at Langley allowed the top rookie, Ed Springer, to lead his first ever career laps. He got 8 of them. All right, and with that, let's turn our attention to our spotlighted over-under driver tonight, and it is indeed the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder. Simon and Poindexter in the smoke-filled back rooms in those Vegas casinos had set the line impressively, 5.5. Ricky, bet the under if you think he'll do fifth or better, over 6 or worse.
That's a tough one because Joseph Snyder's had a lot of really good runs so far this season. He's looked really good. He's starting in the 9th spot, so that's pretty close to the front. But, I'm going to go. I think the odds are telling me that it's going to be the over tonight because we've got 24 cars in this grid.
Ricky wagering with his head and not his heart. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and give you the rundown on the grid. Starting on the pole, it is Chris Davis. He's going to be inside of our top rookie, number 16, Ed Springer.
Boy, there's the Lipper. Chris Hayslip going to start in the 3rd position with a double deuce of Bruce Pearson to his outside.
On the virtual grip network, can Todd Liston get some traction? Well, we'll find out. He'll be starting at 5th, inside of the Caveman Trey Blue.
There's Edward Foster from the Land of Oz, starting to the inside of the 69 of Aiden Young.
Our spotlighted driver, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Ribeye Joe Snyder in 9th. The very fast James Lowe on his outside.
Brennan Meyer is going to roll the 11 car off in the 11th position with Ruben Altiz to his outside in 12th.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it's the Canadian Scott Negus with the chief, former police chief of Plain City, Ohio, Steve Hilbert, in 14th.
There's the other Hilbert starting 15th. That's Tom. Jason Menda going to be rolling to his outside in 16th.
The next row is populated by Kurt Smith and the Canadian Goose, John Wilson.
And there's the boss man, Lowell Jewell, in 19th with Donnie Moore, who, spoiler alert, had a pretty good race there at the SK Modifieds that we just got done doing.
Indeed. In the blackjack position, it's Adam Shane. He's going to be flanked by Mark Herzog.
Rounding out the field there is Kingpin Joe Segala, the inside of Bobby Hayes.
Good to see Joe with us. Joe's missed a lot. He hasn't been a real factor as much as he usually is. He's starting in the back. Hopefully he can get a little momentum going. Get himself, how about a top 10 finish for the Kingpin if we can. All right, we're glad you are with you. This is round number 4. This one and 7 more after. All right, Ricky, you got it.
Coming down into the start zone, Chris Davis is on the loud pedal, and he is away. He will be all by himself at the start-finish line. The battle will be for second. Ed Springer on the outside is going to be ahead of the 93 of Chris Hayslip, and he'll have that position all to himself. Battle's going to be back there with the double deuce of Bruce Pearson and Todd Liston.
Pearson trying to go to the outside. Hayslip in that beautiful number 93. Yellow and blue machine. Pearson trying to find a way around. Pearson and Liston have raced each other lap after lap after lap after lap over their career. Oh, Lipper, they're going on each side of you. One's looking high, one's looking low.
You don't want to be the joker caught in the middle, and that's where Hayslip might end up here as Todd Liston gets a really good run on the double deuce of Bruce Pearson, and he's going to clear him down into turn number 1. And he's going to try to bring the 32 of the Caveman, Trey Bloom, along with him.
One of my favorite songs until I saw Reservoir Dogs, and man, that has really spoiled that song for me. Look back there, there's our spotlighted driver, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder. Joe finally dug out from the snow that he had hit Louisiana.
Yeah, not something they're used to seeing down there in Baton Rouge, but they got plenty of it as you see him move into the 6th position around the 22 of Bruce Pearson and closing in on that under already.
All right, let's look at Liston going to the inside of the Lipper. Hayslip is going to be stuck up top, and the Caveman's going to try to get in and get that spot too. He does. And look at Joe Segala diving in deeper than a Chilean miner.
That's Joe Snyder.
It's Joe Snyder doing it.
And he tried to get to the inside of the Lipper. The Lipper's going to dive down and close that door, but he slides up the track over here in turns 1 and 2, and it's going to give a run to the 39 of Joseph Snyder. Not enough of a run for him to get alongside. They'll all stay single file up here in the top 6.
Let's put our attention up front. Chris Davis leading the whole way.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where you're not sure how hard to push when you're the leader. And the Chris Davis might be using up a little more tire than some of the guys further back.
He talked about it in the an interview that he had in the SK Modifieds, where he says you try to time it, but you see these guys coming and you don't know how much they use to get there, and you don't want to use all your stuff up trying to stay away from guys that don't have anything left. Big mover is Ribeye Joe Snyder. He's up 3 spots. 5 spots. Let's look at the 57. He's doing what he does. Mark Herzog right now in 17th, and he's got a smorgasbord of cars to munch on in front of him.
He's got a lot of really fast cars all around him, too. So I think these are a lot of guys that are back here saving tires and trying to see what they can do later in this race. I think the entire field, front to back, is single file. All 24 cars, except for Trey Bloom, who just pokes to the inside of the 87 of Todd Liston, and he's trying to take the 3rd spot.
Man, Liston out there. Liston would lose this position if it wasn't for that really good-looking paint scheme, but that's going to help the 87 stay. Give Trey Bloom a little harder run. Nope.
Not enough.
Nope, he got him.
Let's look at Ed Springer up at the lead here. He's got a run on Chris Davis. He just about took it down there into turn 3, and he's going to pull right to the back bumper of Chris Davis through turns 3 and 4, but not able to do anything with that run. He'll maintain the 2nd spot as these 3rd and 4th place cars close in on those guys.
So I talked a little bit with Springer, and he said coming into this series, he wanted just to keep it clean. He came in at the end of last season, didn't want to affect any of the championship battles that were going on, and now he gets a fresh run at it. He can go at it with a little more aggression, and he seems to be really good. Led his first career laps last round. Would like to lead a few more right now. Remember, Chris Davis is only up there because of the regrid from the last race. We don't know how fast he really is. Let's take a quick look at his practice times. Davis down the list considerably.
Springer got out of the groove there going into turn number 3, and that let the Trey Bloom machine get to his inside. And they just about make contact here in turns 1 and 2 as Springer tries to get down in front of Todd Liston. They just about came together off of turn number 2, but Springer's got the line. He's going to let Liston have the inside down here in turns 3 and 4. Let's see if the 16 machine can get a run down the front stretch. He will, and he will fall into the 3rd position.
So he started in 2nd, has lost a spot, and now he can just kind of get his momentum. Wow, look at Trey Bloom. My goodness, I don't know what they're having for breakfast up there in Montana, but Trey Bloom has been really fast of late. Hello, Chris Davis.
Talk about Mr. Aggressive, the 32 machine looking a little aggressive down there in turns 3 and 4. He got a big run on Chris Davis, and he's going to look to the inside off of turn 2, all the way down on the flat. He gets a little bit sideways, loses some momentum, and that gives Chris Davis the lead back.
Wow, he had it down there low. He is clearly faster than Davis, at least right now. But he could be using up what he's got. Here comes Liston now. Boy, the action is up front. Liston,
yes, it is.
The inside of Springer.
Yes, it is. Liston with a big run on Springer as Trey Bloom tries to look to the inside of Davis in front of them. But they're going to be side by side for this 3rd position. Let's see if Springer wants to hang on that outside or if he wants to fall in line. There's a big run for the 32 of Trey Bloom. He gets to the inside of Chris Davis, and Davis is going to let him have it down into turn number 1. He wants to get down in line before these guys that are side by side put him on the outside again.
Liston and the 87 had the car way down low, had no momentum. And right now, I don't think Davis is quick, and Liston is trying to stay off the back of the 7. Finally, I think that he'll get that 3rd spot secure. Springer not able to duck it down in here. There's Hazlip back there being under attack from our spotlighted driver, Joe Snyder.
Yeah, Springer eventually decided he has to choose his battles. It's kind of like raising my kids here in this household. I got 2 little ones, and Springer decided he would choose his battle and fall back in line behind the 87 of Liston. So manage those tires and be around later.
Okay, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the 29 of Scott Negus. Right now, he's in a battle with Brendan Myers. That's a battle for 9th position. Negus is up a handful of spots, and he's always fast. Another driver who's fast is now thinking about getting Negus. There's Ruben Altice. Oh, this is such fun to call.
Yeah, and there's James Lowe right behind that pair, and he showed a lot of speed in the race that we just finished, and he's starting to show a lot of speed each and every week in that 99 machine. So I think right now he is just managing his tires and looking for a place to go when these guys settle it out in front of him. Coming at you. What a great camera shot. That's great. Negus really holding that outside lane really, really well. I expected that after a few laps there on the outside, the outside will start to fall back and the inside line will prevail. But Negus really been able to hang out there for quite a while. But now you see Ruben get that run. Negus tries to jump in line in front of James Lowe, but James says, not so fast.
This is the only side-by-side battle on the track right now. Negus tried to go around Hayslip, that didn't work. I'm sorry, tried to go around Myers, that didn't work, and then Altice got him, and then he fell back, and now Lowe has got him as well. So the man, I said, was making his way through the field. Well, he lost a lot. And here's another guy. There's Menda working the top side, and that's Tom Hilbert seeing what the top can do. That's a little too far to the top there, Tommy, as he puts it in the wall.
Yeah, Tom struggling on that outside line. That's not where you want to be. And you see a lot of fast guys lined up to his inside. And I talked about it in the last race. When you get on the outside, it's like a freight train going by you on the inside. And you're just looking for a place to get down. And that's what that 25 car's doing right now.
We are a quarter of the way through, and we've gone green the whole way. And why is that important? Well, first of all, it gets us all to our dinners quicker. But with a lot of green flag laps, that means tire wear is all the more important.
Yeah, and we talked about it at the top of the show that tire wear is not, this isn't the most abrasive track that we run. So tire wear at other tracks is a lot worse than it is here, but it's still prevalent in the late model stock car. The guy that saves the tires the best tends to be the one with the most speed at the end of the race, even at a track like Stafford.
Yeah, but let me drill down a little bit on that, Ricky. Is it so much not a factor that you can race as hard as you want, or if you were even to race as hard as you want here, even though it's a kind track, you're going to run out of rubber at the end of the race?
Yeah, you're still going to use your rubber up if you're pushing hard. This car likes to be, likes you to save the rubber on it, and especially when we have the long green flag runs and you get the tires very, very hot, you will wear a lot of the good off of them when you run these long green flag runs. So
even though this is a less unfriendly track as some of the ones we go to, you still have to manage it.
Absolutely.
Let's look at Jason Menda and Kurt Smith. They are up 3 positions. They may have reached as far as they can go. Menda's got Negus in front of him. Look at who he's got. You talked about the drivers in this one. You got Altice. You got Lowe, Negus, Menda, Smith. These guys can all race. Young. Everybody wants to go here. Herzog.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that list of drivers as Altice dives to the inside of Brendan Myers right here. This is the area where you expect the winner of the race to come from. Myers got a great run off of turn number 2, and he's going to shut the door at Altice. And James Lowe says, I'll take the outside, thank you very much. He jumps to the outside of Altice and has a great run down the front stretch.
Now, Ruben says, not going to let you in here, and then Negus is going to tuck in there as well. And now Lowe has made his bed. Let's see if he has to sleep on it in the outside.
Well, you can make the outside work for a few laps, and if you hit everything just right, you pinch the guy down just right, I think that you can make a little bit of hay up there, but the longer you're up there, the less the tires are going to like it. You're going to start to need to look for a line to get on the bottom.
Menda in the 45 doing everything he can to get on the back of Negus. I think what's interesting here is I think maybe the 11 might be the slowest car, and as I say that, I really should apologize because he's pulling up on the back of the Magpie here, Edward Foster. Maybe it's Pearson that's slowing him down.
Yeah, Pearson is the front of this train right here, so you would tend to think that he's the cork in the bottle. And, although Ed Foster's not right up on the back of him, and Brendan Myers has a little bit of a gap as well, it's almost like they're all content to just ride. Not these guys behind that, though.
No. So we look back at what Lowe is having to do is he's trying his very best, and Negus is not letting him in. Is that hurting both of them? Is one guy getting hurt more being on the racing side-by-side for so many laps together?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard on your tires no matter what. Oh, man, a little contact in front of them. Ruben Altice got into the back of Brendan Myers, and that checked Ruben up. And look at James Lowe. He has another run on Ruben, and he had just finally cleared in front of Negus and kind of was in line, and then he dove to the outside of the 70 again. Now he's got a line. He's going to try to shut the door and get back down in line. And you see everybody kind of stacking up behind that just about caused an incident there with the 45 of Jason Menda as he gets into the back of Negus. And he's up the track a little bit. And now Lowe looks to the inside of Ruben Altiz. He's going to try this the easy way.
You know, it's funny. You talk about it. I'm not sure how many times guys go to the outside just out of the defensive line of maybe not wanting to check up and get punted. So I think sometimes, like I saw Menda go to the outside just because the cars were slow in front of him, and he just wanted to make sure that Smith didn't get into the back of him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's a great observation, and that's something that you do as kind of a self-preservation tactic when all of these cars are stacking up. Very smart move by Menda, because he likely would have been rear-ended had he tried to stay in line and check up.
You know, there's great action back there, but we need to check in on the front just to tell you what's going on. Trey Blooms has led for 22 laps. Davis led the first 17, and they are pretty quick, but they're not going away from Liston. And let's give credit to the rookie Springer, who's hanging in there as well. Good job, Ed.
Yeah, I was going to mention that the top four really are not too spread out. There's a little bit of a gap back to the fifth place car of Chris Hazlip, and he's got the Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder, looking all over the back end of that thing. He knows that he's the over-under driver, and he knows he needs to be in the fifth position, I do believe. Those guys have a half a straightaway advantage over Bruce Pearson, who leads that big train we looked at earlier.
They know how to set a line there in Vegas. Snyder sitting at 6. The line is at 5.5. Right now, that's making my partner a winner. We ride on board with the Butcher of Baton Rouge. He cannot see the two leaders. They are
side by side, is what they are. Chris Davis has just gotten to the inside of Trey Bloom going into turn number 3, and he'll pull alongside him at the start-finish line and retake the lead on lap 43.
Or does he? Little dipsy-doo, little hokey-doke there from the caveman. Liston right there as well. I have no idea how hard these guys are racing. It's highly possible that Davis, Bloom, Liston, Springer may have a hard time finishing in the top 10, but I don't think so. I see the way green. Yeah, I see how hard the guys are racing behind. I start to look at guys that are really taking it easy, and I look at Macy Hazlip and Snyder just kind of racing their line right now. Springer also. Interesting.
Yeah, the top three feel like they're getting really racy right here. We saw the 7 move back into the lead, but Trey Bloom is all over the back end of Chris Davis, and he's looking for a way to get back in the lead. I think he liked being able to set the pace and drive the line how he wanted to drive.
Okay, I was doing an outlaw race with J.R. Shepard, and he talked about with the modifieds actually getting the car that was trailing out a little bit off to the side of the lead car to get some cool air on the tires and cool them down. I was surprised that iRacing even had that in the formula. Does that play a factor in these cars, or does that not really matter for Bloom being right behind Davis?
Oh, no, it definitely does.
Really?
When you're able to get some clean air on the tires, you're able to get them a little bit cooler. So, yeah, it's smart to kind of offset from the car in front of you so that you can keep the tires cool.
Perhaps a reason while Davis may prefer to be out front rather than to follow. Fuel not an issue. I've done so many road course racing where you don't really want to be out in the front because you're doing all the work and guys are drafting on you.
There goes the Butcher of Baton Rouge. Yep. Joseph Snyder, he's moving for the 5th position underneath the lipper, and he'll get the job done. He's going to make me a loser.
He knows. Must be listening to the broadcast. All right, let's go back and look at this train of cars that starts with Pearson. I'm just going to call them out for you. Pearson, Foster, Myers, Lowe, Altice, Negus, Menda. Let's even go back. Smith is trying to hang on. Herzog in there as well. Aiden Young Gun Young cannot get anything going. He's buried in 16th.
Yeah, and these guys have started to close the gap on Chris Hazlip and Joseph Snyder in front of them. And I think that's why Snyder decided it was time to go. Because, he saw that pack closing in on him, and he knows there's a lot of fast guys bottled up behind the double deuce of Bruce Pearson and behind Edward Foster and the 11 of Brendan Myers. But those guys seem to have managed their tires well, and I think they're holding their own. I would question whether or not the 99 of James Lowe is trying to cool the tires off after kind of working them hard there, racing with Altice and Negus.
Kurt Smith just lost 2 positions. All right, let's go back up front. Ricky, this is a good racing up here right now. Maybe they're all just trying to save it. This thing, we've gone halfway now, and with all these guys in single file and getting a feel for it, would not surprise me. That's me knocking on my imitation wood desk here, that this thing goes green all the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. We're just past the halfway mark, and it's got that green look to it.
Yep.
I will mention that the leaders of the last couple of laps have been a little bit slower than the pack behind them. The fastest car on track last time by, Joseph Snyder in the 39, really running these top 4 down.
Well, Snyder was stuck behind Hazlett. Hazlett's lost that spot, and now if we look at that, that's a good-looking number 93. Unfortunately, it's going the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's got that freight train looking to the inside that I talked about. There goes Altiz, and here comes the 29 of Scott Negus. Menda's going to line up behind that. Herzog behind that. Oh, Menda gets into him, and it's going to turn Scott Negus into the outside wall. Negus gets turned around, and it will bring out our first caution of the night.
Scott Negus, that was an accordion effect in reverse, where it banged its way up towards Negus. Usually it works its way back. Negus has gone by, and again, look, he's clear.
Had to check up.
Yeah,
Hazlett had to check up off of turn number 4 right there, and when he did that, the 45 of Menda just really had nowhere to go. He gets into the left rear, and that hooks Negus into the outside wall. Look at Menda right here. He's just not expecting the 93 to check up where you're usually full throttle right there, and that's the result.
Negus has got to be wondering, I had him cleared. How did he get to me? All right, let's dial up hailing out of Montana or Southern Canada. It is still debated. Let's bring up Trey Bloom, the cancer researcher. Trey, you're leading a few laps. You made a chance at it. How you feeling?
I think I'm feeling all right. Yeah, I'm worried I might have burned tires a little bit trying to run up there. And I know I gained a couple spots in the beginning to get up front, but hopefully we're all right.
I don't want to give too much away, but I think everybody is racing harder than they want right now. Outside line worry you? Do you think he can get a decent run and keep Liston behind you?
We'll try. I know Liston's he's gonna be really strong at getting the inside line, so I'll try my best.
All right, we'll keep an eye on you.
All right, thank you.
The front 4 have been the class of the field, but you never really know, Ricky. It might have been that they've been working harder, and maybe Joe Snyder is the guy to watch. He probably has had the easiest time of it of all 4 of them.
I think you may be onto something when you say that, and the reason I think that is all that green flag running. We were looking at lap times there right before the caution came in, and that 39 car was a good 1/10 of a second a lap faster than any of the 4 cars in front of him. Now, there is a chance that the 4 of Edward Foster, the 99 of James Lowe, they're lined up on the inside behind Snyder. Were being bottled up a little bit, so they didn't really get to stretch their legs and show what they had. So it'll be interesting to see who has what now.
It's funny, between Foster and Lowe, I haven't seen Lowe race a whole lot. He's got a lot of experience, but he raced a lot of times when I wasn't calling these series. Clearly, he is fast. Foster is a rookie. Clearly, he is fast as well. All right, Ricky, you got it.
Coming down towards the restart zone. Chris Davis is in control, and he'll get on the loud pedal early, and he'll get a great jump on Trey Bloom right here. Trey's going to have to deal with the 87 of Todd Liston. Todd peeks to the inside. They're side by side for that second position. Way up into the marbles goes to 16 of Ed Springer. He's going to lose a ton of position. Actually, he's going to get into it with Brennan Myers. They all get away from it with no issues, but the battle is up here for 3rd now. You see the Butcher of Baton Rouge to the inside of Trey Bloom as Todd Liston sets his sights on our leader.
That was just the outside line did not go, and Trey Bloom is trying to get down there, and sure enough, Snyder is there, and here comes Liston with a great bite out of 2. Will he send it into 3? He does not. He thinks better of it. Bloom continues to be stuck on the outside. Please let me down.
Oh, trouble further back. Mark Herzog gets turned around sideways in turns 3 and 4, collects several others, including Aiden Young. And the 29 of Scott Negus, bad to worse for him. That'll bring out our second caution of the night.
Aiden Young stuck back there, could not get any momentum and got caught up in it.
Ooh, classic accordion effect here. You see Brennan Myers kind of checked up, Ed Springer checked up, and Herzog did too. They didn't check up behind him.
Get a Springer who was racing in second, third, fourth position, now fall back there. He was side by side with the fellow rookie of Foster. Got the car way up in the marbles, brought it back down. Everyone was able to stay off of him. Good job from Pearson and Myers when that happened.
I may have overlooked Todd Liston there on that last restart.
Yeah.
He was looking like he had something for Davis.
Okay, let's call up Magpie, number 4, Edward Foster. See what he has to say here. Ed, it's Soup up in the booth. You got a copy? Probably not. You know what I think it might be? It might be the international date line. A lot of times we have trouble getting our signal across the equator and the international date line. We have 2 of those natural barriers to get by. It could be a language problem as well, as he speaks Australian and I speak English. He may not have understood what I was saying. Davis, Liston, Snyder, Bloom, Foster, our spotlighted driver, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, ribeye Joe Snyder. Simon and Poindexter put him at 5.5. He's having a great run. Had a horrible opening round, finished 13th. Ever since then, it's been nothing but top 5s for the Butcher.
Get doubled up here, and look at that inside line now. You've got Chris Davis with the Butcher Baton Rouge restarting in the 3rd spot, Edward Foster in the 5th spot, and how about Jason Menda up there in the 7th position? That's a strong inside lane.
And there's some big names up here. If paint schemes count for anything, Liston should have the advantage as we go green.
He certainly has a lot of green on there as the green flag flies, and Chris Davis gets a great jump in that pink and yellow number 7 machine. And hey, look at that. The 87 gets down in line behind him. The battle is for 3rd, the Butcher Baton Rouge. He's on the inside, and he's going to clear Trey Bloom for the 3rd spot. And Trey Bloom's going to try to get down in front of Edward Foster, but Edward's going to try to stick the nose in there going through 3 and 4.
Boy, and there's just enough room for Bloom to get down in there. 2/3 of the way through. Liston and Snyder might be your favorites right now. I don't know how much the 7 has left of Davis.
Yeah, you can see he's not able to get away from these guys like the gap that he had earlier in the race. And now that everybody's been brought back into this race, he's going to have some company to deal with as Todd Liston gets a big run off of turn 2. You see him looking to the inside, not able to do anything there as we look off the back bumper of Chris Davis. They are stacked up behind him, and it's a hungry pack.
We call it Saturday night racing, but if you look at the sky, it is daytime here. Good racing going on as Menda gets underneath low.
So far, Davis able to hold off all the advances, but man, it just looks like it's a matter of time before Liston gets to run and gets to the inside. And right behind that, it looked like the Butcher Baton Rouge had to check up just a little bit, and Trey Bloom tried to have a look to the inside of him, but not able to get there. The front 4 stay single file. The battle is with James Lowe and Ruben Altiz just a little further back here for the 8th position, and those guys are still side by side. Davis
is out in front, but the hounds are after the hares, my dad used to say, and it won't be long till the chef's cooking up the Austin pepper. And when I'm talking about the hounds, I'm talking about Liston, Snyder, Bloom, Foster, Menda. They're all coming. Menda trying to work the top side. And you got to really worry about stack-ups when you're bunched in this tight with one another. And we talked about it earlier about when Jason Menda sensed a stack-up, he went to the outside, and it looks like he did the same thing right there when everybody started to stack up, trying to see if he could take advantage of momentum on his side, and he got to the outside, but up front, it looks like we're about to have a battle for the lead because here goes Todd Liston to the inside of Chris Davis. He runs him up the track just a little bit in turns 1 and 2, and they'll remain side by side off of 2, but the momentum is with Davis. Liston probably going to take it a little bit easier. He's had a tough time of it of late to getting into the back of people. Might be a little bit of contact behind that. Yeah. Now stuck on the top is Snyder, and here comes Bloom.
Yeah, Snyder and Bloom get side by side, and behind them, Minda and Foster made a little bit of door-to-door contact. No harm, no foul, but they're stacked up 2 by 2 here.
This is Liston. I think if Liston could get around Davis, it might be good night nurse right now. Plume is trying to finish off the job on Snyder. Snyder was not happy to get stuck to the outside. That 2 by 2 racing is probably the best news that could happen for Davis. Here comes Liston trying to get a drive.
And he will. He'll get to the inside. But it's funny because even with the side-by-side racing, they could not get away. But Liston is going to get to the inside of Chris Davis right here. And let's see if he can get a little bit of momentum off the corners. He stays to the inside, going down to turn 3. Davis not given a lot of room. They're going to be tight to one another through turns 3 and 4. But Liston's going to have the advantage off of turn 4 as the Butcher of Baton Rouge collects the outside wall on the exit of turn 4.
Bloom now works his way up into 3rd. Snyder dropping. He's got Menda to the inside of him. Ribeye trying to find some way back to the inside line. Now let's see if Todd Liston can start to put a little bit of a distance between him and the guys that are chasing.
And it looks like he's going to do that right away, but there's contact behind him. Jason Menda goes around. Several others scatter behind that. I saw several cars going around, and that all started with the Butcher of Baton Rouge and Jason Menda, along with Ruben Altiz, all getting stacked to one another.
We'll take a look at this a few times, and then the final look we're going to try to do, go in the cockpit of Bruce Pearson as he makes evasive action here.
There was a totally separate incident that happened behind this, but right there you see that Ruben Altiz kind of dove it in there on Joseph Snyder, and that's what ended up collecting Minda. But look at this. This is behind the incident. Chris Hazlip kind of lifts out of the throttle, gets turned by the boss man, Lowell Jewell, and comes back across the track, collecting Springer and Lowell Jewell, and there comes the 52 in late. But fitting that the guy that sent you into the infield is the guy that gets collected when you come back up. Huh?
Now we ride on board with Pearson. This is ahead of the incident in the back, and he goes down here, and he's in trouble. He's on the grass until he finds, some pavement.
And if he looked in the mirror, he would have seen a missile coming across the grass right behind him.
Indeed. Okay, well, that settles down. We won't do an interview, so we spent a long time on that replay. Let's go ahead and review what's going on. Liston sitting as your leader. Chris Davis has been racing up front. Boy, he's in bad shape now. I don't know how much the car had left, and now he's been relegated to the outside.
Yeah, it sure looked like he was struggling with the tires right there, and I'm not sure how much Trey Bloom has either, but he's been able to show a little bit of speed despite the fact that he was racing hard for the lead earlier. The spot I don't want to be in is Edward Foster's spot. He's restarting in 4th behind somebody who arguably has used up their tires worse than just about anybody else in the field, and you're on the outside lane behind him.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's talk about how they're lining up, which is good news for your points leader, Ruben Altiz, down there in 5th.
Yeah, Ruben was close to being involved in that incident right there. He got a little bit of contact, but he's able to keep it straight along with the 39 of Joseph Snyder. Both those guys able to maintain their position, and they're lined up in the 5th and 7th spot, respectively. Good place to restart.
Snyder been racing around the over-under line the whole race. Needs to pick up a few to hit the number. Okay, pace car's in, Ricky.
Going down into the restart zone, and it's going to be Todd Liston with control of the field. He'll get on the loud pedal and get a great restart. It's going to be Chris Davis falling into the clutches of Trey Bloom. He tries to shut the door on him going down into turn number 1, but Trey says, "Hello, I'm here. I'm to the inside," and the battle is for second.
That was get your foot in the door, and Mrs. Davis, would you like to buy a vacuum? So Trey Bloom, again, though, I don't know how hard the 32 can race with the 7. I think both those guys race hard. Maybe the best of them might be Ruben Altiz back there in the 70. Flying in, oh my goodness, like a missile is the 99 and James Lowe on the outside. Woo!
Yeah, the number 4 there of Edward Foster, he got down in line behind Ruben Altiz. He did not want to get trapped behind that 7 machine on the outside. So he got down in line, but the 99 of James Lowe took advantage of the momentum on the outside line and just dove up there and filled the gap.
I'll tell you right now, if Ruben Altice makes it 3 wide, I will buy every viewer a pizza. That's just not going to happen. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But he is clearly faster than the duo in front of him. He's got the 7 of Chris Davis, who's really holding up this line, and Trey Bloom not able to do it. But he's going to make it 3 wide. He did it. He goes to the bottom. And then, and they've sorted out. Now you see the 7 get in front of both of them, and Ruben Altice is trying to, he goes 3 wide again here in turns 3 and 4 to the inside of Chris Davis. He's trying for the 2-for-1 special down the front stretch.
Takes it in deep. He makes it stick. He is inside of Davis looking for second position. I think he'll get it eventually. I just don't think there's anything left for the 7 to fight with. I could be wrong. Let's see. Look at Altice. Get the car down low.
Yeah, he's got to go now. They're running out of laps as they come back to 13 laps to go. Davis tried to check up and get in line behind Altice, but look at Edward Foster. He's going to fill that hole, and he's going to try to take the 3rd spot. Oh, tough contact between the 2.
They keep it going straight. Man, they're bumping behind. Pearson almost got into James Lowe. They get that sorted out. Send your request for your pizza to Lowell Jewel, care of VGN Network.
A lot of contact further back in this field. You see these guys all over each other back there, but I got to believe that the number 4 of Foster is not going to be too pleased with the way the 7 cut down and made contact with his right front corner, and I think that's really gotten him out of his line. He's fallen into the clutches here of the 39 of Joseph Snyder behind him, and I don't think it's that he's slower than the 39. I think he's gotten his feathers ruffled just a little bit, old Magpie.
You know, I'm really sorry that I have to be part of the commentating team. I would like to be part of there with the simulated fans just watching this. There is racing everywhere. Oh my goodness, the Butcher of Baton Rouge just put it in the wall. That's going to open the door for Brandon Myers to get in the 11. He's going to try to bring in, he's back, he's up and down. He's going everywhere. That is James Lowe.
That's a big deal because that puts Joseph Snyder in the over position, and he's going to let James Lowe through too. So he's going to fall back to the 7th position, and he kind of followed Edward Foster up into the wall there off of turn number 4. Both of them got a little piece of it. But the top 3 have checked out with coming back to 8 laps to go.
Indeed. Racing out there with the face that he keeps in a jar by the door. Anybody gets that reference, God bless you, is Todd Liston. Here comes Ruben Altice. Does he have time? I don't think so, but he's making a run at it.
And further back, there's racing all over the track. Jason Menda trying to look to the middle of Trey Bloom and Aiden Young, and he's going to do it. And here comes the 29 below him. He's going to push Trey Bloom way up into the marbles. Trey's going to get into the outside line outside wall off of turn number 4. And, man, he's going to lose a lot of ground because of that. These guys are racing hard back here.
Indeed. Ricky, if you're Ruben Altice, do you want the yellow to close the gap but be stuck on the outside, or I think he's quick enough. I think he'd just like to do this right now here with just a handful of laps left.
I think Ruben Altice wants this thing to stay green. He's hoping all those guys will just sort it out and figure it out, because he's closed the gap in a big way on the 87 car over the last few laps, and there's only 1 car length between the 2 of them as they hit the 5 lap to go mark.
With apologies to the rest of the field, we're going to focus our attention up here as Ruben Altice, who somehow, I think maybe they've taken the fluoride out of the water of his hometown, because he has never been faster. He's got a shot at it. Looking to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Side by side, Cialis Bathtub's out of 2. Can he get a bite down low? I think the 70 has better grip than the 81. Ricky, can he finish it?
It sure looks like he's going to down here in turns 3 and 4. Ruben gets a big run, but there's the momentum on the top lane, and Todd Liston's going to pull back ahead just a little bit going down into turn 1. But Ruben will dive it down into turn 1. He's going to try to clear him off of turn 2, and he's clear. Spot for him, Soup.
He is a man on fire. Coming around Gherkin, lap number 99 as he comes under the flag stand right now. Ruben Altice started in 12th position, has worked his way up to the front. It took him 83 races before he won his first race. Since then, he has won 3 out of the next 7 races. Ruben Altice on fire. Nothing between him and a win, but a half mile of pavement. He gets the white flag. Todd Liston would like to have something to say about, but there's nothing there. Liston falling back into the clutches of Davis. It's all done. Coming through 3 and 4. Stand up and cheer. The quiet man, number 7, Ruben Ortiz, wins his 3rd race of the season.
What a season Ruben is having here in the Bootleg Racing League Late Model Invitational Series. Unbelievable job.
Truly amazing, and not a sad eye in the house as everybody loves the quiet man. Mark Hertzar comes home in 13th. If he's able to race next time, look for him to start on the pole. This was a good one. Let's take a short break. We'll come back and run down the entire finishing order, talk to the top 3 drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. When NASA locates the planet-killing asteroid heading towards our planet and civilization is looking what to put in the time capsule, they may want to consider this broadcast and this race that these guys put on. My goodness, it doesn't get much better than that. Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway and VGN's 5th round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series, Season 29. Well, the quiet man does it again. He only led 3 laps, but they were the last 3. Ruben Ortiz picks up his 3rd win of the season. Todd Liston came from 5th to 2nd and had a good 22 laps out in front before he gave up the lead. Another man who led more than half the race was Chris Davis. He finishes in 3rd. How about the Aussie, the Magpie, Ed Foster? He goes 4th, right ahead of Brendan Myers, who raced up front the whole time. Nice job from the 11. James Lowe was up and back. He was fast. He was slow. He's going to finish in 6th. Try as he might, the Butcher of Baton Rouge misses on the over-under, finishing in 7th at 5.5 was the line, making my partner a winner at the bidding window. Jason Menda came from 16th, cut that in half as he got to 8th. John Wilson, the Canadian Goose, did the same from 18th position, coming home in 9th. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson, well, he started in 4th, lost 6 spots, but finished in the top 10. Ricky?
Scott Negas had an eventful race here tonight, and he brings it home in the 11th spot, so all told, not too bad. Aiden Young brings it home 12th. Man, it's going to make for an interesting front of the pack next week. Mark Herzog finishes in the Baker's Dozen spot, so that means he will be the pole sitter next week. He was a big mover in the race, gaining 9 spots on the night. He finished 13th. Lowell Jewell, the boss man, he finishes 14th. Steve Hilbert came home 15th with Kurt Smith 16th. Ed Springer, he found some trouble late and finished 17th. Joe Segala stuck it out and finished 18th. Trey Bloom, man, had a good run going all night long, ran toward the front most of the night, finishes 19th. Tom Hilbert rounds out the top 20.
For Bloom, it might be a case of Rumpelstiltskin coming for the baby there. Just ran out of stuff at the end. Chris Hazlip hits Blackjack. Donnie Moore, a quiet run from him, 46 laps down, 22nd position. Bobby Hayes and Adam Shane rounding out the field. With that said, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. It's Ruben Altice. Ruben, it's soup up here in the booth. The wins are rolling in, baby.
Yeah, it felt good tonight, but halfway through that, I didn't think I had a chance. It was just so hard to pass and starting on the outside a lot, and I kind of saved enough for the end.
You did. Probably us in the booth probably had a better perspective of what the guys had in front of you than you may have, because we're able to watch the whole race. You're stuck inside your cockpit. I thought you were in trouble when you were stuck behind Trey Bloom and Chris Davis side by side. I didn't think there was anywhere for you to go until you just decided to break the golden rule and make it 3 wide.
Yeah, I seen an opportunity there to go, and I said, I got an opportunity, I better take it here, because it was so hard to pass tonight. And the outside was working pretty good, and they could hold you down, and you couldn't go north.
Well, you got it done, amazingly enough, against my rule of that never works, but you proved me wrong on that one. Then we get to the end, and I asked my partner with about 7 to go, and you were so far behind Liston. I asked Ricky, do you think he wants a yellow flag to make up the distance but have to start from the outside, or does he want to run him down? Ricky said, no, I think he's got him. Were you thinking the same thing? Were you thinking, let's stay green, I can catch the guy?
Yeah, I didn't want to see no caution, because I had to start on the outside. And after I got clear 3rd place, I kind of started catching Todd there, and I was getting him a couple of attempts here and a couple of attempts there, and thank God I finally run him down.
But then, even when you got there, it took you at least a couple laps to get it done. You were stuck side by side for a while.
Oh yeah, Todd, he's a good driver, and Chris is a good driver, and it's hard to get by these guys. I know they're gonna race you clean, and it's still hard to get by them, and did all it could.
All right, Ruben, we'll get you out of here on this. Are you finding in your hometown that the sudden success that you are having is being shared by other people in your neighborhood? Perhaps it's like they've stopped using some type of pesticide, or maybe the store has better fruit, because man, it's really come around for you. Is it just you, or is it everyone in your town?
I have no idea, Sue. That's funny, but I don't know. I'm trying to run a little bit different this year instead of burning my stuff up, and I just kind of ride for a while and then go. And I just been blessed. Thank you, good Lord.
Okay, I promise. I broke my rule. I said I was going to get you out on this one, but my director said during the race that he thought that maybe Ruben Altice has got the winning bug. Do you think? And I honestly think about this one. You don't have to just give me a textbook answer. Do you think maybe you're racing a little more aggressive now that you've got the taste for winning?
At times you got to, or you ain't gonna get around some of these guys, because they are tough, that's for sure.
That's it. Spoken from the man who made it 3 wide tonight. Congratulations. Way to go, Ruben. Keep it up.
Thank you, Sue.
Long interview on my part. I apologize for that. I know everyone wants to get dinner, but we don't get to talk to Ruben that often. Well, at least we do. Lately we have been. All right, Ricky, who you got?
Well, it was Todd Liston who kind of spent the first half of the race tracking down Chris Davis and Trey Bloom, and just seemed like he was managing his tires well. Got to lap 80, built a huge lead. Was it surprising when you saw that 70 of Ruben Altiz closing in on you?
I kind of figured after that last caution, I didn't know whether there was going to be another one or not, but I knew that was it, because I started to see some of those people that had worked their way through the field, and I knew some of the better tire managers were getting up. And yeah, I was checking that relative, and I saw Ruben working his way up, and I was like, oh, it was a battle to the clock then. And yeah, he's an excellent tire saver for sure, and he's got these cars figured out this season.
There's no doubt about that. He looked tough. Did you want to see a caution to force him to try to make something happen on the outside there in the last 10 laps?
No. I on that last restart, the reason I pulled out so hard is because I was all in. And I burnt all my goodwill that I'd spent hanging out behind Trey and Chris the first half of the race. And I want to give a shout out to Chris because he was making it tough to get around. I kind of muscled him a little bit, and I'm glad we all kept it facing straight forward and he didn't clock me. But yeah, probably kind of deserved it a little bit, but that was some fun racing all around.
Well, good job tonight, Todd. It's been kind of a season to forget across the series for you so far, but tonight you looked great.
I'll tell you what, Ricky, I am second-guessing my choice to paint my car all green.
Soup loves it, so don't change it. Have a good night, Todd. We'll see you next time.
I might just do a color swap.
Get the orange back. Bring it back.
I'm old enough to remember when no driver would dare race a green race car. That's bad luck. All right, good job, Todd.
Thank you, guys.
Let's dial up. That's a funny thing. Let's dial up Chris Davis. Chris, Trey Bloom led 24 laps. You led 51 laps. Todd Liston 22 laps, and then Ruben Altiz the final 3. I know you finished third, but you can take solace. You were involved in the classic, baby. This was a great race.
Well, I sure hope that put on a good show for you guys up in the booth, you watching it, and hopefully this is something that the BRL can take home and be proud of, and show what we can do here with a whole lot of respect. I did end up on the other side of the balance beam this time. In the SKs, I waited too long. This time I think I pushed too early, and that's why Ruben came there, and you know what? He led the lap that mattered.
You did. It was a fun watch. You raced hard, and it was good racing. And I know guys, passing is hard at this track, but it put on a good show.
Yeah, a few things. Me and John Wilson, Matt, who's we're part of Continuous Development Racing, and like I shared with you, we're always trying to improve our racecraft and ourselves every week. And there was something that I did in practice, just the last 4 or 5 minutes. I decided to try a different line. And it was actually what felt like a slower, methodical line, easing into the brakes and easing off. And I went back and I looked at my lap time, Soup, and I was a tenth faster without putting as much pressure on the tires. So I thought that was going to be my golden ticket, but unfortunately I didn't make it to Willy Wonka tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, you lost to a guy who's on a roll, and that is Ruben Altiz. Hey, thanks for putting on a good show, Chris. Well done. It was a good night for you in both series.
Thanks, Soup. Hope to talk to you again soon.
All right. Chris Davis, third place tonight. With that said, we hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Boy, it was what you call a barn burner. But let's go ahead and see when we're going to do this again. If you like what you saw from these guys on the late models, we'll be back next Saturday, same time, Myrtle Beach. Oh, you don't want to miss that. But before then, I'm going to be working with J.R. Shepard, more SK Modifieds, but from a different series. Is going to be the Red Light Racing guys, and they're going to be at Stafford, which is where we are now. Hey, that's cool. I'll just stay in the same motel until Thursday. Those broadcasts, past ones, future ones, are all part of the Virtual Grip Network. With that said, no hack for you here, so until we meet again, have fun storming the castle.